financial ability to be able to give gifts. I find myself that it's like, well, I have the ability to give to others, a gift, whether it be one or a couple. And for myself, I rather enjoy the fact that I'm finally in a place that I can live that part of the American dream, being able to give those gifts to others. So as much as I do really like the article by Arthur Brooks, and I think that there's more to it than just simply materialism, and I think that we've gotten into materialism far too much in this nation, I also know that my own path, I was able to step away from materialism because I didn't have, and so I learned to enjoy what I didn't, learned to enjoy the experiences, but at the same time, there's also the part of, what we love about this nation is our material successes and being able to bestow gifts to others that we care about. And I have to say, I really like that part of Christmas. So there you go.
Go on, Andy. You've been trying to get in here for like a long time now.
No, it's okay. I was just enjoying listening to everybody. I enjoyed the article. It was fun reading. How Arthur Brooks learned a lot from a Tibetan monk and learned so many wise things. I was very inspired by it. I actually went out and purchased several monks of my own in response to the thing. It was wonderful, and I mean they don't do much. We use one as a lamp. But, it meant a lot to me. Look, I think it's great. I think it's wonderful because I totally agree. If you are, there's nothing wrong with things. There's there's something wrong in needing things. I always talk about, God, the giver, and the creation, the creator and the creation, the giver of the gift, the provider of the provision. And my question with, people is always, if you're a Christian, which one do you need? What do you rely on? Do you rely on the provision? Do you rely on the candy from the sky coming down and making your life better? Or do you turn to Him? And the same thing is true even setting God aside, the same thing is true in our relationships. What matters to you? The things that your husband or your wife does for you, the things your kids do for you, or them? And I just think that that's what we forget too much. And we start, it always hurts me watching so many people I know around Christmas be hurt or angered or don't get, and the frustration. For me, Christmas, I'll be honest, has become a lot less fun because of it.
There's something that I like to do that I think is a good Christmas gift is to write a letter of affirmation to people, to point out why they're important to me and important to others, their positive traits and things like that. I think those are valuable, and they just cost a little bit of time.
I think that's a great idea. Something that strikes me a little bit funny that we're having this conversation is that if you were to look at this from the left's perspective, when they think of conservatives, when they think of us, aside from picking on us because we like to have these holidays, we like to have the traditional side of things, we like to have the family, all that fun stuff. The other way they portray us is as the sort of Scrooge McDucks, in love with wealth, in love with material goods and items, and that's not what I'm hearing here. I mean, I have my iPad and I have my Game Boy and I have my Beats by Dre and stuff going on all over here, but I'm not hearing. That's not what this conversation is. That's not what you guys are saying. It's not what we're saying, and I think that's interesting. I don't think that we get that out there enough. That these are really what we care about. These are the things that we find important and meaningful, and it's not the stereotype that the left likes to portray us as.
Well, I gotta say that I was traumatized at about 5 years old. Santa brought me a Noah's Ark set, and it was a beautiful Noah's Ark set, and it broke the first day, and my parents told me Santa had to take it back to the North Pole and fix it, and he never sent it back. And for years, like 20 years, there was never another Noah's Ark under the tree for me. And when I was 25 or so, one appeared under the tree. It was in miniature now, but it worked, and it had all the animals. And so Santa took 20 years to make good on his promise, and I think it scarred me for life.
But that's a lesson in.
Wait. I got to jump in. I'm going to jump in for a second here. I'm sorry, Leslie. I got to jump in. I find it interesting that she says it took her 25 years. You know, these things take time to repair, and the reason I mention that is because as we're having this meeting, I'm actually putting together a scale model. So, you know, I just want you to know that repairs are not something you do overnight. I mean, this model has sat in a box for decades, actually, and I'm finally now being able to sit down and put it together. So I don't think of it as a tragedy as so much as somebody actually took 25 years to be able to repair that and get it back to you. I'm just letting you know that that's a lot of love over several decades to say, hey, look, I know it broke when you were 5, but you know, and you're 30 now, but here you go, and I love you anyway. And it's in miniature, but there you go.
So I'm confused. Are you an elf, Peter?
We're much taller than you realize, huh?
That's what I'm saying.
He has been outed.
And also don't live at the North Pole.
Well, you would assume that they have to.
Come
Yeah,
on.
they have
You
to
can't do anything
outsource.
when your fingers are just like, you know, back and forth. You got to move to a warmer climate. I'm just saying.
What it is
And
that,
Santa
that
is
Texas
a genius. He lives in Texas.
has such a good business climate. Of course, it makes more sense
Exactly.
to put the labor in Texas. It makes more sense all the way around.
Most
And you know how easy it is to get day labor when you need it?
Most elves now work in slave shops and sweatshops in the Orient. So things have changed. It's all shifted, just so you know. So don't look up north. Don't look up north.
That Santa, he is just a terrible, terrible person. It's just...
Or genius. Depends on how you look at it.
Sure. One way or the other.
I always admired the cheap labor aspect of it. I always admired him for...
What did I just say about trying to shake the stereotypes, Andy?
Look, I grew up a Marxist Democrat, okay? I shed it. I'm free now. All right? I exploit people. Even people I don't know. I'll just be walking down the street just pointing at them, yelling, I'm exploiting you. They have no idea what I'm doing.
Sure they do. You just told them you're exploiting them.
And they just walk away. And it doesn't really make much impact, but I still feel good. I feel good.
Andy, why you gotta be such a bully?
You're in Colorado. Everyone assumes you're just stoned out of your gourd.
Well, there's that, yes. There is that.
Actually, it doesn't take much to get stoned around here anyway, because the air is just filled with the aroma of pot 24/7, especially if you're downtown.
It's super cheap.
Is that why you actually converted to conservative principles? You were liberal, but everybody's high, so now you're conservative because you're high? I'm just asking.
Look, it could be. It could be. I'm not really sure how it's affected me. Okay, but yeah, it's possible. But a lot.
Hey, that's a step in the right direction.
Good to know. Good to know.
I think that's a transition to bullying there, Leslie.
Yeah, I was just about to get there, but I was just coughing. Thank goodness for the mute button. Anyway, yeah, so Andy is a perfect example that we live in the age of the bully. He is such a bully. No, seriously. First, let's conclude our Christmas segment with Merry Christmas, everybody. And if you really, really are involved in buying expensive gifts for people and really have that generosity of spirit and want to give them away, again, my PayPal account is... Okay, no, I won't do that.
No, but you could give mine.
Okay, Fishy, what's your PayPal account?
Hey, can I, really quick, can I offer one last gift-giving thing that I loved in life?
Absolutely.
Okay, I used to be in the Air Force, and I was with the Color Guard. And every year we would go to all the kids on the base. And our base was here in Denver. I know they told me join the Air Force, see the world, and then they sent me home. I have no idea why. I didn't even request it.
Hey, as a side note, I got sent north of you to Wyoming, so no runway, not even airplanes. I mean, come on. Really?
It's
Part of the world.
Wyoming is a runway.
Yeah, not Cheyenne.
Oh, okay. Well, I know because, cows, thud, 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 thud. But here's what we did. We would we'd go to all the kids on the base every year, and we'd ask them, would you like to we'd like you to give a toy to a child in need. And not just as some old toy, we want you to give whatever toy you wish you would get. And we'd challenge them. Now, of course, the parents are going to help the kids, and go get them something and so forth. But the kids would really get excited about it. And so they would give great gifts. And then what we'd do is we'd bundle them up. And we'd get them all wrapped and everything, and we'd be in our full color guard uniforms and take the truck downtown to 5 Points, which is the poorest area of the city. And these kids had never seen anything. Okay, they basically were dying as they walked. And of course, we would bring food and do other things for the communities. But at Christmas, we'd bring these gifts, and we'd bring them into the schools. And you should have seen the kids wrapping them, opening them up. And the beautiful thing wasn't just that, well, first of all, they were more excited. They were just as excited about our uniforms. But the beautiful thing wasn't just that the kid was getting this great gift, but knowing the excitement of the kids who were giving it. And those kids on the base would still be buzzing and talking about it 3-4 months later. So I guess that's my neat Christmas memory.
So I jumped in here a little late, but I want to share a quick Christmas memory before we move on to our bullying discussion. When I was a teenager, about 10 families or so in my neighborhood got together to do Sub for Santa for some families from the poorer neighborhoods of our city, and I'm not sure exactly how we got the names or anything, but we found out some things they needed, like coats and shoes and pants and things like that. And then we also went out and got a bunch of fun things, toys, bikes, rollerblades, skateboards, that type of stuff. We packed the cars. Everyone had SUVs, and we packed those up with all the toys and drove down to their neighborhood to deliver them. And it was a really cool memory to see the looks on their faces and how grateful they were, especially the parents, and seeing kind of the tears in their eyes. And I also remembered that their little front room was packed literally from the floor to the ceiling, and it covered half of the room. We just had, there were so many gifts there for them. It was kind of cool. I mean, it was definitely overkill, but I'm sure it made them happy. They probably shared with all their friends, and that was one of my favorite memories. I don't really remember what I get for Christmas most of the time. Most of the time I don't remember what I give for Christmas, but that one really stuck out to me because we had an opportunity to go to a family that really needed help and not just give them the things they needed, but a lot of toys they want and kind of anything that they could dream of. So that one, I still remember that every Christmas, and I wish that's a tradition that we kept up.
And again, that's the experiences, not the stuff, that sticks with you. Because you probably couldn't name 10 of the things that were wrapped up in boxes, but you can go on and on about the looks on their faces and the smiles and all of that kind of stuff, because it's the experiences that matter. And I think one of the other things that Fishy was saying is, in a different article, it said make sure that the Santa gifts are the small ones because kids compare back and forth. And it's about teaching children not to lower their expectations, but about contentment and fairness, and not ratcheting up the expectations, but being happy with what you have. It's not it's not about setting lower goals, but it's about being satisfied with what you have and with what you've been given, rather than, well, I got an iPad, but it was